Memories are things that stick with us unless you're looking for some important memory like where you left your car keys. Like, dude, why is it that car keys specifically can be so hard to find? Okay, anyway, we all have our own unique memories and nostalgia and just things we love, and this isn't any different with gaming. Regardless of any opinions you have, heck, you could hate a game until the day you die, you might just have some fond memories with it. It could be anything, an art style, maybe a specific character, or even a random level. Today I wanted to talk about that because gaming memories aren't something I get to talk about every day on my channel, so no matter how random it is, it's Wisp and let's get to it. My first memory comes from playing Super Mario World years ago. I don't remember getting too far into Mario World, maybe about a quarter of the way through, but my tiny brain could not get used to the controls. Especially the cape's flying controls. Like, dude, I hate whoever came up with them because I played this game on my Wii, meaning no in-game manual, and little stupid Wisp thought the cape controlled like the Tanuki suit in Mario 3. Newsflash, it didn't. So I kinda grew to dislike Mario World just because it didn't control exactly like Super Mario Bros. 3 did. There is one thing that I'm sure didn't help with this learning curve though. Yup, that's me. I bet you're wondering how I got myself into this situation. Well, it all started like 10 years ago because I couldn't get an SNES or an NES and I had to deal with this nightmare of a controller. Don't get me wrong, the GameCube controller is fine, it's functional, but this thing is not meant for 2D platformers. I'm well aware that Smash Melee is controlled with the GameCube controller, and to that I reply, 1, shut up, I don't play baby games, and 2, what is your point? It still sucks. It is a legitimate crime against nature to play Super Mario World like this. It's unnatural, it's dare I say, cringeworthy, but I just had to suck it up and deal with it because I had no clue where to buy a classic controller for my Wii, so I was stuck playing Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario World with this stupidly bad D-pad or this not much better analog stick. Eventually, I got to play Super Mario World with a better controller, but I still shudder to think about playing it with a GameCube controller. Speaking of GameCube controllers, one time, also a few years ago, I got a GameStop brand GameCube controller, and that might immediately set off some red flags, but I fell right into their trap because for whatever reason I needed a new controller, and I couldn't find an official Nintendo controller. This thing didn't even last a month from what I remember. It was a big plastic hunk of junk, complete garbage. The analog stick cover, instead of having nice grooves in them to help with gripping the analog stick, had a cheaper smooth rubber cover which worked but felt so much worse in comparison. The other buttons were also plastic, and I'm not sure what the original GameCube controller was made out of, but this thing just felt so bad to use, and it's such a stupid, cheaply made piece of trash. It even had a turbo button which had absolutely no use whatsoever. Like, okay buddy, if this is your idea of a cool bonus to distract the kiddies from the rest of this terrible controller, then you must be sick in the head. But the cherry on top of the garbage sundae was that the C-stick had an indentation on a plastic shell that did not feel good to use. And sure, putting an indentation on the top of the C-stick maybe wouldn't have been such a terrible, horrible idea if the C-stick was made out of any other material, but whoever designed this thing wasn't looking for quality, they were just looking for something to scam a couple of kids for a quick buck. Unfortunately, I was one of them. I sincerely hope whoever was in charge of this got fired. I hated the controller so much that I literally smashed it to bits and pieces. Anyway, my next memory is something very bizarre, something I don't even remember, it's just that weird. Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings for Nintendo DS is apparently a game I own that I have zero recollection of buying or getting as a gift. Now that I think about it, I don't even remember where it came from. Okay, so I was big into Indiana Jones for a short time when I was younger. I rented out a whole book about how one of the movies was made. I got Lego Indiana Jones on Wii and the second game on DS because I'm a pleb, but Staff of Kings feels like a fever dream. Is this game even real? My 3DS recognizes it, but the inner mechanisms of my mind sure can't. Who even made this game? Why do I own Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings on Nintendo DS, and why is this crappy beat-em-up game stuck living in my head rent-free? What the hell? I really must be going insane. Let's talk about a memory that isn't so traumatic next. I remember the days of inane video game rumors revolving around the idea of content being hidden in games that you can't access without pulling off some ridiculous set of incredibly specific instructions. The most infamous of these, of course, being Ella's Real, and how people came up with varying degrees of stupid ways to unlock Luigi in Super Mario 64. It's kind of funny looking back on that now that we have definitive confirmation that Luigi was intended on being included in the game. Personally speaking though, I've always thought the whole Ella's Real shtick was pretty uninteresting since I grew up with the DS remake of Mario 64, meaning I already had my playable Luigi. This did raise another suspicion of an entirely different character being hidden in 64 DS though, more specifically Waluigi. This is the only rumor I've ever thought had any real weight to it because the Ella's Real 2401 text on the Eternal Star statue was very likely just pure coincidence, while there were a few specific elements to 64 DS that could have been linked to the purple lanky fella. I'm sure most of you all know of this, considering it's another well-known rumor, but essentially some people thought that Waluigi was hidden in the castle wall because of an error in the game's save file selection screen. On the other hand, in 2005, there was an image going around from a DeviantArt user, King Bowser Koopa, that was supposedly an image scan of an article titled Purple Prizes from a magazine detailing how to unlock Waluigi. This article claimed that you would be able to unlock Waluigi by getting every star and becoming the fastest foot racer in the land. This could have been a reference to the cut purple bunnies shown in a beta screenshot of 64 DS that was accidentally left in the game's manual, but this was an April Fool's prank, so I'm not sure if the user gave it that much thought. Going by the purple bunnies alone, I honestly still hold some belief that Waluigi was originally going to be put in 64 DS, but as far as I'm aware, there's no further evidence hinting towards that being a possibility, so for me it's more of a silly thing I like to think about. This reminds me of another random unlockable character memory, this time having to do with Super Smash Bros. Brawl. It's funny because this was the only rumor I was ever told of by a friend at school. He said that apparently if you use Peach's final smash on Sonic, Amy would show up and you would unlock her. The memory is pretty foggy, so I can't remember the details all too well, but for some reason I just believed in it because I wanted there to be more Sonic characters in Smash. It did seem kinda plausible to me at the time since Amy obsesses over Sonic, so she would obviously get mad if someone hurt him. I just don't understand why it's specifically Peach making him fall asleep that should trigger her anger. I mean, I don't know how old we were at the time, so he could have just made it up to mess with me, but I don't know. I think the same person also told me about how Shadow was hidden in Brawl. It's been several years though, so racking my brain for that memory would be a hassle and a half. This brings me to another random short memory I have. This happened around the time the 3DS was about to launch. A couple of stores in my area had promotional material up for it, but the one I remember best was Best Buy, where they had a 3DS demo stand with a playable demo of Super Mario 3D Land on it. One time when my family had to go shopping at Best Buy, my brothers and I took turns on the demo, competing to see who could get all of the medals on the first level. It's an unremarkable sounding memory, but it's bizarre that the 3DS is a decade-old handheld now. I basically grew up with it as my shiny new Nintendo console. Sure, the Wii was also a big part of my childhood, but the 3DS slowly but surely grew to be my favorite Nintendo console. Time flies fast when you're not paying attention. Heck, the Switch is nearly 4 years old now. Like, dude, I'm not supposed to be feeling old at 17 over stupid things like this. But that's most of my more memorable gaming memories. This video probably seemed a bit disjointed with the topic changes, but it's been pretty fun talking about my random gaming memories, and looking back on how things have changed. Well, what gaming memories have stuck with you over the years? Let me know in the comments, I'd love to hear about them. But I'm Wisp, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.